Now that you know how to do the knit stitch and the purl stitch, it's time to learn how to put them together to create patterns. As you can see here, I've got a garment already started with the knit stitch on this side and the purl stitch on this side. What we're going to do is we're going to knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2. You'll see this a lot in a lot of different patterns. And this is also how we're going to create the bottoms of our toques later. So this is how you do it. It's pretty simple. You do 2 knit stitches, knit 1, knit 2, and then you take your yarn and you bring it forward, but not in a stitch. You just see it's on this side of the needle, on this side of the garment, coming up from the back because we were doing knit stitches. We need to bring it over to this side so that we can do our purl stitches. So you do 2 purl stitches. 1 purl, 2 purl. Pull it tight, and then take your yarn so that it goes back to the other side. If you don't do this, the whole bringing your yarn back to the correct side has got to be on for the certain stitch you want to do. It turns into a mess pretty quick. There you go. Knit 1, knit 2, bring it onto the other side without actually doing a stitch. Purl 1, purl 2, and then finally knit 1, knit 2. Now right now it's not looking like much. Easiest way to tell that you've done it right is count before you go any further, because it's a lot easier to fix it at this stage than the later stage. Is it's flat and then suddenly bump, bump, bump. Flat, flat, bump, bump. So knit, knit, purl, purl. Knit, knit, purl, purl. Alright, and then flip your garment over. It's not nearly as visible on this side, but it looks kind of like where the purls are on the other side. This side, they're knits. So it looks kind of like a depression. It's a little bit darker, you can see that. So, as you've probably figured out, the side that was a knit on this side is now a purl on this side. And just keep doing that. And that's how you create ribbing. So, purl 1, purl 2, bring your yarn over to the other side, knit 1, knit 2, purl 1, purl 2, to the other side, knit 1, knit 2, and then finally purl 2 more. Flip it over, check out your work. So there you go. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. As you can probably tell, because this is 10, when you divide it by 2, it's 5, so it's uneven. So that's where we have knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. If you only wanted knit, purl, then it would have been 8, which is divided by 2, which is 4, which is an even number. Something to keep in mind depending on exactly what you want your garment to look like. Right, and let's just continue it again. Go really fast this time, so you can kind of see what it's like when you're in just the function of doing it. the knitting needle hitting the tripod. Let's just do one more and then we'll do the cast off. It's also really important to keep a handle on your garment so it doesn't slip off. If you go too fast, that's totally something that can happen really, really easy. There you go. Now you can see the ribbing a lot easier. And now you can also see why people do ribbing, is it basically, it takes the yarn and pulls it. It also keeps the garment from curling, which you can see in our other little garment here. It's curling really easy like this. Sometimes you want that, but usually you don't. So it's a good idea to do this on the bottom of any garment, whether it's a sweater or a toque. In the case of where you want a scarf to be flat, I recommend doing this the entire way through the scarf, and I have a lot of scarves that are like that. And there you go. That's how you do ribbing.